like this. Gucci, the luxury brand whose family members are so incredibly fierce, constantly infighting and skilled at it. You could call it the Italian version of In Family with Trust. Support us with information about the family that built this world-class luxury brand. How did they do it? What strategies did they use to build, expand, and even tear each other down to the point where Gucci almost lost its name? You can find out by scanning this QR code or just hit subscribe for updates. Once you've subscribed, stay tuned for more. Let's dive into the scandals and drama inside the house of Gucci. Gucci is a high-end luxury fashion brand under the Kering Group, whose stock price has dropped about 70% from its all-time high reached in 2021. Still, the company is currently valued at around $23 billion. It's considered the fourth largest luxury brand in the world, right after Louis Vuitton, Hermes, and Chanel. For Gucci to have reached this massive level of global influence, we have to admit, it's because this brand is seriously hot, whether it's their sizzling, on-fire fashion or the intense drama within the family, it's all turned up to the max. And if you're someone who's curious about how luxury brands are actually built, the story I'm about to tell today will definitely inspire you. Or if you're just the type who wants to know out of curiosity, that's cool. We're in the same boat. Let's listen together. Let's start with the origin story of Gucci, the very beginning of Gucci. The first generation, the founder, was Guccio Gucci, the patriarch of the Gucci brand. Guccio was born and raised in Florence, in a family where his parents ran a hat shop. But that hat shop didn't grow into Gucci because the hat shop his parents ran actually went bankrupt, which left his family completely broke. You could say they became poor. At 18, Guccio went to work at a hotel where a lot of wealthy and famous people stayed. I believe he noticed that the rich guests at the hotel usually wore expensive-looking things, like luxury leather goods and pricey bags. And when I say expensive, I don't mean they were costly because they were super functional or convenient to use. No, they were expensive simply because they looked beautiful. They were just fashionable and looked luxurious, that's all. And it was this realization that led Guccio to discover that fashion itself is the dividing line, the distinction between those who have money and those who don't. After that, Guccio went to work at a small bag shop to gain experience, and he worked there for a long time. It wasn't until he turned 40 in 1921 that Guccio finally opened his own small bag shop. It was called Gucci. Guccio started to learn what kind of designs wealthy people liked, what really met the needs of the rich. There were many things that rich people wanted, and Guccio knew what they were. But honestly, you just couldn't buy them anywhere. Even importing them wasn't possible. So Guccio solved the problem by thinking, if that's the case, I'll just make them myself. That's why he opened a workshop. He started making handmade bags himself to meet the needs of those wealthy clients. But by some stroke of luck, anyone who's ever built a brand or run a business knows this, just being a top-notch designer, knowing design inside and out, and being able to satisfy customers, that alone doesn't make you rich. The same was true for Guccio. He knew what customers wanted, he could design well, and he could produce quality products, but he didn't really know much about business. That's why Guccio ended up with a lot of debt. And what allowed the Gucci store to remain operational and continue its legacy was the crucial financial support that Guccio borrowed from his daughter's exceptionally generous son-in-law at that time. So, where does the reputation for fierceness in the family come from? Let's take a look at the origins of the drama within the Gucci family. As Guccio got older, he got married and had children, 3 sons named Aldo and Vasco. The three of them helped their father, Guccio, run the Gucci business. They went on to open a second branch in Rome, which turned out to be perfect timing. This was right after the end of World War II. At that time, a lot of soldiers were returning home, and they wanted to buy cute gifts to bring back to their wives or loved ones waiting at home. This led to Gucci's store becoming quite profitable. By 1953, with all three sons helping to manage the business, they were able to open a third branch in Milan, and things just kept growing from there. In that same year, the three sons went on to open the fourth branch in New York, USA. But by then, Guccio was already quite old and probably couldn't keep up anymore. That year, after Guccio opened its fourth branch in New York, Guccio passed away. However, before he died, Guccio was careful enough to write a will and divide up his assets properly. When the will was read, it turned out that Guccio had divided the shares of the Gucci store equally among his three sons. That's it. He didn't leave anything to his daughter. Remember how I mentioned that the Gucci store was almost bankrupt at first, but it managed to recover because they borrowed money from the daughter's wonderful husband? But when Guccio passed away, none of the Gucci shares were given to his daughter. Guccio had a daughter named Grimalda. Grimalda was furious. She couldn't accept it. She was like, what the heck? When the business was about to go under, it was my husband who helped save Gucci, but when it came time... After her father died, she wondered why she didn't get any share at all. So Grimalda decided to take the matter to court and sue. But in the end, she lost. Grimalda didn't get anything from the Gucci shares. And that was just the beginning, a small spark of drama in the Gucci family. The first generation built Gucci from the ground up, right? The second generation, which was the three sons, expanded Gucci even further. When Gucci opened its fourth branch in New York, it became one of the very first luxury brands in the world to establish itself in the United States. It quickly became hugely popular and admired by Hollywood celebrities. Everyone just had to wear Gucci on the red carpet. And when Hollywood celebrities started buying Gucci, it made Gucci even more of a hit. Regular people wanted to dress like their favorite Hollywood stars too. In 1974, Vasco, one of Guccio's sons, passed away. After Vasco died, his shares went to his wife. At that time, Aldo and Rodolfo, Guccio's other two sons, tried to buy those shares. With Vasco's wife involved, Aldo and Rodolfo each ended up holding half of Gucci's shares, so 50-50. The two brothers then expanded Gucci even further. They were actually one of the very first brands to expand into Asia. They opened the first Gucci flagship store in Hong Kong. At that time, Gucci also expanded its product line, offering not just bags, but also small leather goods like wallets, belts, shoes, and all sorts of other items. But even though you could say Gucci was doing well, it still wasn't at its peak, because Gucci was still a family business. In Italy, there's this old saying that gets passed down about family businesses. The first generation builds it, the second expands it, and the third destroys it. This old Italian proverb isn't an exaggeration, because when it came to the grandchildren, oh boy. They really knew how to stir up drama. They never disappointed. Now, moving on to the grandchildren's generation. Earlier, I mentioned that the remaining sons of Guccio were Aldo and Rodolfo. Aldo had three sons, Giorgio, Roberto, and Paolo. Aldo divided his shares in Gucci among his sons, giving each of them a small portion. And as they grew up, these three grandsons fought fiercely over who deserved to be the major shareholder in Gucci. As for Rodolfo, he had only one son named Maurizio. Rodolfo didn't let his son hold any shares. He wanted to avoid problems and keep all the power for himself. Then, in 1972, Maurizio married a woman named Patrizia Reggiani. Patrizia was a huge fan of Gucci. She wore Gucci to parties and high society events. She started putting pressure on Maurizio, telling him, "Maurizio, She insisted that one day she had to become the CEO of Gucci. At first, Rodolfo, Maurizio's father, really didn't like Patrizia at all. He even tried to stop Maurizio from marrying her. Rodolfo looked at Patrizia and told Maurizio that a woman like Patrizia was what they called a gold digger. That's the term they use for women who are just after money and wealth. And Patrizia was even known for her bold statements, like, "Crying in a Virturoid is still better than being happy on a bicycle." But still, when people are in love, a father can't really stop them. In the end, Maurizio still married Patrizia, so his father said, "Fine, then you won't get any shares." And Maurizio never got any Gucci shares while his father was alive. But after his father passed away, the 50% stake that his father held had to go to Maurizio anyway. So Maurizio ended up owning 50% of Gucci. And so the story of the Gucci family reached a real turning point once Maurizio got his shares, right? And before that, Aldo's 3 children also had shares. So there was a lot of fighting and bickering among the cousins. Total chaos, really dramatic. This is what you'd call a crossroads for Gucci, because when so many people hold shares, management just doesn't work out, and they can't agree with each other. For example, one relative suggested selling the rights. Gucci should just give the rights to department stores, like go mass market. So 5N wanted to buy the Gucci license for a whopping $100 million. But Maurizio disagreed. He said, no way, Gucci can't go mass market. Since Maurizio held a lot of shares, his opinion carried weight, and as a result, Gucci lost out on that $100 million in revenue. But guess what? It turned out that Maurizio's decision was actually the right one for the Gucci brand in the long run, because what Maurizio decided was not to license Gucci to department stores, keeping Gucci as a luxury brand, maintaining its exclusivity so that only the wealthy could access and own Gucci. Meanwhile, trouble was brewing in another branch of the family. Aldo's son, Paolo, only got a small share of the company from Aldo, and Aldo didn't really give Paolo much responsibility in the business either. So Paolo, "Hey, that's not fair. I want to be a designer and create things for Gucci." But it turned out that everyone in the family said Paolo's designs were terrible. Even Paolo's own daughter said her dad's designs were ugly. So Paolo started to resent his father, Aldo. And do you know what Paolo did? He sued his own father, accusing him of tax evasion. So Aldo, Paolo's father, who was 81 years old at the time, ended up going to jail for 366 days. And Paolo, the grandson, kept trying to design even though his designs weren't any good. He even went so far as to start his own brand to compete with Gucci, called Paolo Gucci. But people at Gucci tried to block him at every turn, making sure he wouldn't succeed. Paolo tried to sue people at Gucci in return, but he didn't succeed. Paolo ended up selling his shares and walked away with a fortune. But since he didn't really understand how to run a business, he spent every last cent and eventually went into debt. Let's get back to the main storyline of the Gucci business, which is about Maurizio. Maurizio said, "Wow, our family's fighting so much. We can't go on like this." So he brought in a company called Investacorp. Investacorp had previously invested in Tiffany, the jewelry brand, and that was a success. So Maurizio brought Investacorp in and persuaded his relatives who held Gucci shares to get on board. They sold the remaining 50% to Investcorp, which made the structure of Gucci such that Maurizio held 50% of the shares and Investcorp held the other 50%. Maurizio still served as CEO, managing the company and making major decisions. They agreed that they wanted to make Gucci an exclusive brand that was hard to access. What they did was reduce the number of Gucci stores or shops from more than 1,000 locations worldwide down to just 180 stores, selecting only the most profitable ones. They also reduced the number of Gucci product lines. Previously, Gucci produced a wide variety of products. As mentioned before, there were as many as 22,000 product lines. They cut that down to just 7,000 items. And it seemed like things were going well, because at that point, there was only one person from the Gucci family left, Maurizio, and Investcorp, the company that came in to manage Gucci. But this was the beginning of what they called the era of no more Gucci in Gucci house. Because ever since Maurizio took over as the sole CEO of Gucci from the Gucci family, he led Gucci into a new era, an era of massive losses. Under Mauricio's management, Gucci lost up to $30 million a year. You could say Gucci was really short on cash. There was no money to pay employees, no money to pay fit course suppliers or anything like that. Investcorp, which held the other 50% of the shares, just couldn't take it anymore. They were fed up. Basically, they felt that no one from the Gucci family should be left in the company at all. So they tried to persuade Maurizio, telling him, come on, just sell the other 50% of your shares to us. At first, Maurizio seemed reluctant, like, no, I don't want to. But when Investcorp offered him $150 million for the shares, Maurizio was like, okay, fine, I'll take the money and leave. And as soon as there were no more Gucci family members running the company, from that moment, in 1995 to 1996, just 1 year, Gucci was able to double its revenue from $260 million to $500 million in just 1 year. Investcorp managed to take Gucci public, launching a highly successful IPO. After that, Investcorp sold off its shares and made a profit of $2 billion. Gucci's stock even reached its highest point in 2021. You could say the stock, it even hit $800 per share, which shows just how much it grew. Gucci really thrived as long as there were no members of the Gucci family running things. But the story of the Gucci family members doesn't end there. There's still 3 more episodes to go. After Maurizio sold his Gucci shares to Investcorp and got $150 million, which is a huge amount, he started living a happy, carefree life. He also separated from his ex-wife Patrizia, the one his father didn't like. After that, Maurizio started dating a new woman named Paola. Patrizia was really upset about it, but at the time, one of Patrizia's friends told the media that Patrizia wasn't heartbroken because she lost her husband. She was upset because she was about to lose the Gucci last name. Then, in 1995, while Maurizio was walking in the city as usual, on his way to work, he was attacked by a gunman. Shot him in the face 3 times in a row. After that, there was absolutely no significant progress in the case at all for 2 years. The police investigated and officially stated that every member of the Gucci family was a possible suspect in this murder. But in the end, the investigation uncovered evidence that it was Patrizia who was the one who orchestrated the assassination of Maurizio. Patrizia was then convicted and sentenced to a total of 18 years in prison. During that time, while Patrizia was in prison, someone offered her the chance to join a work program that could reduce her sentence and possibly get her out of prison sooner. But Patrizia replied, "I've never worked a day in my life, and I don't think..." I'm gonna start now. This story teaches us that Maurizio, he should have listened to his father from the very beginning.